Welcome to our next screencast for ERPAL for service providers. In this screencast, I want to show you how to work in projects, how to automate your revenue in these projects, and how to integrate your customer into your ticket queue so that they have a transparent overview over the project. In the latest screencast, I gave you an overview how to work with the CRM, with contacts and activities to control your sales process. Let's continue with this. Remember, we created an order. This is an activity that was set to order was placed or quote accepted. And from this order, we want to create a new project. We add a project description. We add a start date and an end date, how it should be done for a project. You can add your team. We add the project manager and add its role. It's not the controller, it's the manager. And we also want to include our customer and mark it with a role as customer. The customer has only permissions to view the tickets lists, to view all tickets and to edit all tickets, but as he should not influence the development process, only request support, he should not be able to access the tasks list. Now let's say we have agreed about 2 deliveries with our customer. That means we will get 2 payments. One payment for delivering the first milestone, and another delivery is to complete the project, and we will also get a payment for this. So we call this task delivery of milestone 1. The deadline is automatically set to the deadline of the project, but we can change it. And we add a price setting. In this case, it's a fixed price. We add the tax, we add the currency, and the fixed price is 10,000 euro. You can also set a service category. This will help you to keep track of your revenue in each category that you offer to your customers. You will be able to see this in the reports. Save this task and add another one. Delivery of complete project. Deadline is set 1 month later. Development completed and go live. And again, we add a fixed price for 5,000 euro and set it to service category backend development again. Now imagine that the customer also wants to get help with the concept. So he requests consulting services from our company, and we will be paid per hour, as we are not able to offer a fixed price for consulting services. So name this consulting for concept. We add an estimation here, 10 hours, and we set this to price per hour, 80 euro. We also need to set the tax value and the currency, and here we set the service category for consulting. And save this task. Now you can see the tree, and we want to add a subtask for our consulting that we call design consulting. Here we don't have to add any pricing information, as subtasks inherit the price settings of their parent tasks or of the project. So it's very comfortable to add just subtasks, track time to the subtasks, and billables are created, and you don't need to add this information to each task that is a child task of a given parent task. Now let's track some time here. We track 6 hours for consulting. And if you remember the billables list that I presented to you in the first screencast where I gave an overview over ERPAL, now you see for the customer, let's filter for it to see only its revenue. We have a time tracking for 6 hours multiplied with 80 euro per hour, and this is the total price including tax. Let's add the time tracking also for the parent task. 3 hours. And you see another billable was created. If we go to our time tracking and we want to change the time tracking, for example from 3 hours to 2 hours, and the billable is not yet included into an invoice, it will be changed from 3 hours to 2 hours. Now let's go back to our project and complete a fixed price task. Okay, task view. Before we do this, we also want to show the ticket queue. Right now we don't have any ticket, that means no support request from our customer. In another browser tab, I am logged in as a customer. Customers only have limited access to the menu links and they see only their projects. I created a project for this customer. He has only access to the ticket queue and to his files. He can add new tickets, but he cannot access new files. So let's copy the link of our project. It was interested in a campaign page. We go there, interested in a campaign page, and add a ticket as the customer needs help with the login process. How does the login work? Don't need to fill anything else. And now we can see the support request in the ticket queue of the customer. If I want to get a notification of all tickets that are added to our project, I can just go to the project detail view and click Notify Project. That means I will get notifications by mail for everything that happens in the project, if a new task or a new ticket is added, or if a comment is placed on a task or a ticket. If I answer the ticket of our customer, he will get an email too. Use your email and password for login. And ready to test, so we want to get feedback if it worked for the customer. For all tickets the customer added, he will also get a notification if he created a new ticket and we answered there. Of course, he can also notify the project and he will get notifications for everything where he has access to. Let's switch back to our project management and continue with the development on a task. We first deliver the first milestone. Leave a comment here, set it to completed, and check our billables list where we have another billable with a fixed price of this task. If the customer reports a bug, there is still a bug, and set it state to buggy, we save this. View our billable list, the billable will be removed because the service or the task was not yet completely delivered. After this, we apologize and promise that it works now. Set it to ready to test, so the customer should test this. And if I got an information from the customer that it works, or if the customer wants to set this task, if he has access to closed, I do this right now, then a new billable is created. Now we have 3 billables. Let's do the same with our one open task. That means we deliver the complete project. If you want to get an overview over all fixed price items in all projects, that means how much money you will earn in the next time by completing your projects, you will just have to access the fixed price items tab, and you will see there is one task left to deliver. Go there, leave a comment here, and set this task to completed. Of course, you can customize all these statuses, all these task types, and all the priorities by just changing the taxonomy in the Drupal backend. Save this task, and we see our billable again. Now let's imagine that we got a budget of 20 hours from our customer. He wants us to keep care about this budget and to inform him if the budget is 80% to limit. So we set this to budget per hour, add again our currency, create a new time budget for, let's say, 10 hours. And here we have to set the budget time billing mode. That means either the budget is not prepaid, that means the customer didn't already paid for this budget in advance. That means every time tracking will create a billable where the customer has to pay for. Or we set it to prepaid if the customer paid in advance and this time budget is already paid. In this case, we don't want to create a billable every time we track a time on this task or on a task that is related to its budget. So let's set the customer paid in advance, 10 hours. Every hour that is added to the budget, if the budget is already empty, we will charge the customer with a price per hour of 100 euro. The project manager wants to get the notification if the budget is 80% close to limit. And we set again the service category to backend development. Let's save this. And on the project you will see your price information and your budget. As you can see, we have 10 hours in total and 10 hours available. Now we will create a new task. Another service for our customer. Don't set any price mode here, because as you remember, the task will take or inherit the price mode from its parent or from its project if there is no parent, as in this case. Go to this task, add a time tracking of 8 hours, save this, and now we see that our budget has only 2 hours left. If you click to view this budget, you will see which time trackings have been booked onto this budget. And as we expect, no billable has been created because we remember, and we also see the time tracking is not billed only if the budget is empty. Let's add another time tracking with 5 hours. We only have 2 hours left, that means the budget will be empty and the time tracking will be split. Let's see how it works. You get a notification that the budget is completely used now. We see another time tracking of 5 hours, but only 2 hours are booked to this budget as we only had 2 hours left. The other 3 hours will create a billable, as you can see here. Billable of 100 euro each hour. This mechanism makes it very easy to take care of budgets and to give your customer information if a budget is close to be empty or if it is overdue. If we access our billables list, now let's create an invoice. Select all the billables of this customer we filtered by it. Create the invoice, click execute. You can change various settings like the invoice address, the invoice date, credit period, the invoice number will be automatically created. And confirm this and create the invoice. This will result in a new data set in your invoices list that shows everything that was added to the billable list. You can also click the invoice PDF, and here you see all your services, and if there are some services that are grouped, for example, different work of service category consulting, if the service category is set, you see an invoice attachment, which time was delivered, when and how much. Let's go back to our project. And now you can see on the right a summary of all tracked time. As we didn't add an estimation to the project, this is red, because red means the current track time overdues the estimation. We can change this and add an estimation to the project. Let's say 20 hours, which will remove the red. It would remove the red color, but we already tracked 21 hours. So it's okay that this summary is red, and we change the estimation to 25 hours and save it. By the way, for Drupal developers, it is also possible to hook into these events with rules and send notifications if an estimation is overdue, for example. Files we don't have in the project, but we will see our deadlines if we have open tasks. In this case, we don't have open tasks, so there is nothing to see. At least we don't have open tasks with a deadline. We can see all our time trackings, see a total calculation of the time trackings here. And this is the first overview about how to work with projects in ERPAL. Of course, there are some other tools like the Git integration for software developers. That means you can connect ERPAL to your Git repository with GitLab, for example. And every time you push a new commit, this commit will be added to a task as a comment if the commit message contains the ID of the task. This makes it very easy to track your comments, your requirements in the task, and prove that they have been done by a Git comment. Last but not least, I want to show you how you can add concepts to your project. Just edit your project. First create a concept. So these are the user stories for our project. User stories in each page. You can add, for example, our customer contact here, and you can add tokens that will help you to use templates. And how to use templates I will show you in the next screencast, because here we want to focus on our projects. Okay, so let's switch back to our project. Edit this project and reference our document. Save this, and we will see our specification. Let's add one page. For example, a user story for the login and registration. Login with user and password. This required. Save this. Add another one. Logout is required. Logout for the user. Sorry. Click logout link will terminate the session of the user. And save this. So we have a project with a user story and a sub-user story. Of course, you can move them to be on the same level, so it's easier for an overview. And now we can add a task. Develop Drupal login service. We don't add anything else here and save this. As you can see, we have a task now below our user story. We can add another one or can add another one to our next user story. This was a subpage, sorry. We want to add a task. Terminate session on logout link, click. And save this task again. If we click this task, we will see that this task was added to our project. And if we are on this task, we can also see our concept. We can access it here or see what was written there. This is very easy for developers to see what they should develop with this task. They always have reference to their concept. So go back to the concept. And if you want to export this concept for your customer, you can customize the design, of course, according to your needs. You can export the front page. Just switch on every setting to show you the full functionality. Download the document. Open it in LibreOffice as an open document format. And here you see that you have a full table of contents. You can customize your footer. You can change your header, of course. And then you have all the user stories and the tasks with the statuses and whatever information you want to add. You can change all these settings here. This makes it very comfortable to work with concepts in projects and keep track that all your requirements of your customer are really delivered. So, thanks for watching this screencast. That's everything, and I hope that this gave you a very good overview about how to work with projects in ERPAL. Thanks, and see you in the next screencast.